G'day legends, it's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here. Before we get stuck into another great interview brought to you by Crannk.com and thatmetalstation.com, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and that way you can keep up to date with all the best music and interviews from all over the world. Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crannk.com and with thatmetalstation.com. So tonight, wherever you are in the bloody world, today I'm getting to have a chat with Michael Ryan, which is cool. Because I had a chat with Scott a couple of years ago with the Hellhound release from Universes. The guys are recently dropped Saboteur, which I played on the show the other week, which you regular listeners would have caught. It's really cool. Michael, thanks for having a chat with me, man. It's been a crazy day, but thank you.
No worries, man. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So how have you been, man? How have the last couple of years been for you guys? I know you've dropped the Hellhound release and then the world kind of not went to hell. went to hell, man. How you been anyway?
Yeah. Honestly, dude, I think the past few years have been pretty tragic. I mean, every band's in the same boat, you know. It was a bit of just a bit of a soul sucker. We kind of had all these plans, obviously to tour Australia, head overseas and play some shows, which all just got stripped away from us, which was pretty crappy. And we were like in the midst of writing new music and doing all this cool, exciting stuff. And then I think once that kind of hit, like the COVID situation, it kind of, just took its toll on us, and we lost a lot of motivation. But thankfully, I think, we're slowly getting back into the swing of things with this new single. Obviously, it's got a lot more excitement, a lot more, I guess we're just way more keen to get out there and give it a crack. So,
yeah, it would have been pretty disheartening for you guys, because I know when I had a chat with Scott, it was kind of just to drop that Hellhound, and I'd seen all the tour announcements as well, and I was kind of like, everything's going to get going for you guys, and it must have been a really huge hit as well. Kind of, what do we do now? Where do we go with this? Because we're unsure. Like, we can't play any shows, and we know that playing shows is a big part these days of being a band.
Yeah, it was sucky. Like, I mean, like, we were sporty. We were actually meant to release this single. We've had this single written for like over a year. And we were like, contemplating releasing that. But I like, everyone's like, we all have pretty serious careers. Like myself and Scott, we run our own business in the mining industry. Our drummer's a project manager at like a defense force company. Our bass players are like it works for Metricon doing like sales consulting, and so they're all like in our personal lives very, very busy individuals as well. So that took a toll, and none of that slowed down over COVID. Thankfully, we didn't, like, none of it. If anything, all of our jobs just picked up. So our careers took off, and our kind of music unfortunately did the complete opposite. So it was kind of really hard to pick up the pieces after, so much hope and so much fun things were about to happen. And then, it just fell off. And it was pretty disheartening.
It was. And I suppose on the positive side, give you more time to spend with the family as well. But as a band, did you have that conversation that, like, are we going to wait and see where this goes before we release new music? Just get in there and try and work on some new stuff, have a plan of attack for as this kind of opens up?
100%. Well, I think it was like a blessing and a curse. I think the whole situation, like, because we had been playing so consecutively over the course of the first 3 years of us kind of being a band. Like, funny enough, just before COVID hit, we kind of were like, oh fuck, man, we've played all these shows, we kind of oversaturated ourselves in Brisbane a little bit, like, and I think, we were all kind of keen for a bit of a break, which was like, it was probably not 2 years of a break, but it was kind of like, oh, well, actually it worked out okay. And I think in turn of having that break, it's probably made us more keen and like more enthusiastic and motivated to actually get out there. And because it was good to have that time off, but I think we're ready to rip back into it.
Ready, yeah, especially and with the latest single Saboteur, it absolutely rips, man. What I got to ask though, I didn't ask Scott this last time. How do you guys go when you're composing your cleans and your heavies and you're making the tracks? Do you just kind of get in there and wing it and see how it goes? How do you go when constructing that side of things with the vocal arrangements?
Yeah, honestly, like pretty much, man. We just get in the studio. Like I'll write the fundamentals of the song
Yeah.
and do the guitars, and our producer Gary will usually sample drums over it, gives us like a feel. Then Scott writes the lyrics, and then we just all pretty much every single one of us get in the studio and just play with ideas. And I don't think we ever actually rocked up. There's been the occasional time that we've rocked up with some form of plan. But yeah, for the most part, it's just we get to the studio and we just see how it turns out on the day. I wish I could say that we were like this super organized band that had everything ready when we got to a studio, but yeah, we just aren't. It's never how we've actually done it.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit more about this track Saboteur, kind of what it means for you, man?
Yeah, well, obviously Scott wrote the lyrics, but
Yeah.
I think like the message behind it is, I think everyone can kind of relate a little bit to it, because it's essentially focused on the human trait of essentially self-sabotage, regardless of whatever's happening in your life, be it positive or like negative or positive. We have a tendency to, when things are going really well, still kind of, go down that path of just self-sabotaging and getting into those ruts and having those like mental, I guess the word like fears of moving forward. So instead of fearing, not succeeding, people just tend to have a tendency of like giving up and kind of ruining it for themselves. And I think that's kind of the backbone of where that song was meant to go.
Yeah, that's a great message, because a lot of people do it. I know it, and I'm sure you probably did it as well. Probably if you
100%.
overthought this whole universes thing and, getting in a band, you probably wouldn't have done it. It's probably just dive in there, don't overthink it. And if you kind of let your mind and your thoughts sometimes sabotage some of the positive things in your life that you want to do, you probably won't do them. So just people dive in there and give it a go. I know I probably wouldn't be doing this and started this 5 years ago if I overthought it as well. It's just like you've got to, with anything in life, you've just got to kind of, if you want to do it, just get in there and do it. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, because as a human trait, I guess we all do it. Once you start overthinking it and digging yourself a hole, it might not actually come to fruition, But yeah, no, that's, I guess, what we were trying to just, that lyrically was where that was meant to go, that song.
Where'd you film that, dude? Is that like a little church or?
So that's actually a funny location. We it's at Beachmont, which is about half an hour kind of inland from Nerang, which is on the Gold Coast. Yeah. And we sported this idea of just getting a location that we could kind of like an Airbnb that we could kind of crash out for a couple of days and just shoot this video over a course of 2 days. And we rock up to this place and it's literally, as it says on the Airbnb, like an old shitty church that's turned into like an Airbnb, like there's beds and shit there. And we rock up and it was just like the most eerie, like haunted vibe place we've ever been to. Like, because Beachmont is this really, I don't know if you're familiar with the area, but it's like a really small, like dairy farm mountain thing, like that no one lives there. And then we all rock up, and actually it was funny. The people that own the Airbnb came over, and there's 15 tattooed huge dudes in this little crappy church, and this old guy kind of like walks in. He's like, "Oh, what he's doing here?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just actually filming a video here. I hope we'll keep the noise down to a minimum, yada yada." And then Colin, who actually was shooting the video, was like, "Oh, so is this place like haunted?" As like a joke, and he's like, "Oh, actually, funny story, it is." And then had all these horror ghost stories that apparently were real, but I'm not very into ghosts or believing any of that. But in saying that, if there were ghosts, it was gonna probably be at that place because it was very eerie and just a weird vibe. So it kind of suited what we were trying to aim for, like, perfectly. Like, it just had that scary, haunted vibe anyway. So yeah, it was actually a cool little spot. We had a lot of fun shooting that.
Yeah, and it was a great looking film clip as well that I have to mention, the Ten of Swords guys. As always, you guys make really great film clips. So I did have to mention the Ten of Swords guys as well. Used to working with on the Saboteur one. It's got a few hits on there, and YouTube must be really good to see that side of it. It's funny with it now because it's the only way you can go get film clips. I was just talking about Rage earlier on. I was watching an old Fear Factory, and I'm like, that was the only place you get film clips. Now it's like jump over to YouTube, and it's with bands. It's like the YouTube videos now are such a big part. It's crazy to see the way the music scene has gone just the last 5 years alone.
Yeah, it's only a short period of time since it's transitioned to that, but yeah, for sure.
So what's how's the touring scene for you guys? Have you got anything planned at the moment, or are you what's the plan going forward with you guys?
So we did actually have a tour booked for this March, just gone. But I think we really weren't ready, I guess, to play live shows again. Like, we hadn't practiced as a band for so long, and all this, you know, just with me and Scott, you know, we work away a fair bit, so we haven't even been home a lot of this year. So yeah, it kind of just didn't work out. So we actually ended up canning that tour. But we do have, without giving too much away, there's a UK band coming here in November that I think we're going to jump on that tour with them as main support.
Awesome.
And possibly do maybe our own tour in the meantime. But we're kind of just, again, we're just more focusing on releasing music and just seeing what happens. Like, we haven't even got any, like, we've turned down like heaps of shows just for the pure sake of, I don't think we're quite ready to give the live performance that I think we should be giving, since we haven't played it, especially in Brisbane. You know, we haven't played a Brisbane show in like almost 2.5 years. So
yeah, as this Brizzy scene come back, I've got you know, a lot of posts like everyone up on social media, and I'm kind of seeing everything starting to open up and go again. And have you had a chance to get to any shows, and what's the scene like up there at the moment?
No, the last show I went to was there was a huge Deadlight show. Within last year sometime. Yeah, at the Tivoli with She Cries Wolf and a couple of other local bands, and it was awesome. Like, it was all just Brisbane bands on the bill. It was a huge show. That was an awesome show. Like, really good to see the scene kind of come back and support. But yeah, I haven't been able to make any of the other shows. I'm going to actually Mayday Parade. I think it's this Friday or next Friday, which would be cool. Like, just to go see the old pop punk idols. But yeah, I think with shows gradually coming back in, I'm actually super keen, because I used to, before COVID, like, that was just what I did. I used to go to shows, and it was like the best thing. And Brisbane, you know, for one of the smaller scenes out of the capital city, Brisbane shows always used to turn up pretty well. And I think I can't wait for it to slowly get back into that.
Yeah, neither can I. It's great to see, like, because we've got an amazing scene. Like, I know worldwide there's a great metal scene all over, but here in Australia we have so many great metal and rock bands and of every bloody genre. So I'm
We're
really
very privileged.
Exactly, very, very privileged.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we have this influx of people getting along to shows as well, getting along early and really supporting the scene as we go forward, because it's been a tough couple of years, like we mentioned with you guys at the start of it all.
Yeah.
It's not only yous, but a lot of other bands, and with people only streaming these days, that touring cycle is, and buying merch and supporting your bands in that way with physicals is a really big part of the scene. So I'm just hoping that really happens a lot. People get behind the Aussie music scene going forward.
Yeah, which I think they will, because I mean, that's one thing Australians love doing. Just going and listening to live music. I mean, I know it's one of my personal favorite things to do. You can't beat going and watch a live band, in my opinion. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I've been to some shows where it's just been Aussie bands, like some of these festivals that they put on around Australia. I know up in Brisbane has some great ones up there where it's just purely Aussie metal bands and that. And I've had the great the best time going along to them and just learning so much about the scene. I remember when I first started going along to like New Deads, and I was just getting into it all and the heavy essays, and it just blew my mind. I'm like, dude, I got to get along to all of these and cover as much as I can and just talk about Aussie bands everywhere I possibly can.
Yeah, nah, it's cool. Yeah, like Dead of Winter is probably one of those really good festivals here in Brisbane that I think for the most part are probably 90, if not all of them are Australian bands, and they're like, again, I go to that all the time, and it's such a good, like Australia has such a good music industry. And yeah, I think it's definitely going to kick back into gear.
Yeah, awesome. Michael, we're going to sign out, man, but I want you to pick one more track besides Saboteur. I'm going to play Saboteur. Pick any track from you guys, and I'll chuck that in there as well, man.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Probably my personal favorite is Hell/Me. It's pronounced Hell over me, but yeah, Hell/Me is probably my second favorite track. So yeah, if you can give that a spin, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you'd like to add in there, my friend?
Just thanks to anyone that's taken the time to listen to us. I know it's been a crippling 2 years for everyone. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how many people have stuck around over the 2 years of silence, and yeah, just still cranking the music. I still get messages about people appreciating the music, and that's awesome. And yeah, thanks to anyone that has just stuck by and given us a listen. And yeah, we can't wait to get back out there and hit the road and play shows again.
Awesome. Everyone grab the latest single, Saboteur, from Uni/VS Universes. Put it in the stereo, crank it loud for the neighbours. They are going to want to hear it. Michael, cheers for joining me, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Done, mate.